Just getting out of bed. See the cotton? It's like two little cotton plugs they simulate turbinates that have been cut out of my nose. And this thing has fixed the problem of severe pain sleeping without without all the stuff that they cut out of my nose, all the flesh and bone. That reduces all the pain. Well, I just got out of bed, 12, 34, 15 and a half hours in bed. And I had at least 8 hours of sleep. I had more sleep last night than I've had in more than 20 years. It took, well, a couple of years ago, during all of this, often I was in bed for 15 hours and I would sleep 1 or 2 hours during that 15 hours. Look at the bags under the eyes. Holy cow. So I'm kind of in shock. This thing that I made, I'm amazed. The minute I put that thing in my mouth, how long have I been wearing that? 2 weeks? The minute I put that thing in my mouth, and almost every night when I put that in my mouth, I take this deep, relaxing breath. And it just blows my mind. And I think it signals to me that I'm safe and I'm going to be able to breathe through the night. There are nights where I lay down with that thing on, and there's been a couple nights where I have fought to I don't know. I think there's things that, I don't know what, there are things that make the laxity, the tightness and the looseness. There's things that make this worse. And there have been a couple nights where I went to bed with that thing in my mouth and I didn't feel safe that I could fall asleep with my throat open. But it blows me away because I put that in my mouth last night and my body the involuntary response is just this deep, relaxing breath. And I think, wow, like this really must be the right thing for me. So, for example, let's say I put that in my mouth and I took a sleeping pill, which I don't. I can't take any sleeping pills. But let's say I took a sleeping pill and it's making this worse. It's making it too relaxed. And then I'm panicking. That's how I've felt a few nights. There seems to be things that make the issue worse. But anyways, so yeah, this just blows my mind. So I ate something last night. I blacked out at about 10 o'clock. I ate something I think that triggered, inflammation for sure. Blacked out about 10 o'clock, like literally was couldn't keep my eyes open in this chair. I was just fighting. I could not fight it. Blacked out at 10, slept till 12, slept for an hour or two, slept for 2 more hours, and then was up for hours. Maybe I didn't have 8 hours of sleep. Maybe I had 6 or 7. The nerve damage is bad. My hearing is getting worse. The tinnitus is getting worse as I'm sitting here. But you know what's terrifying is my whole life has been burned to the ground by medical. And you know what? You know who gets blamed is the patient. I wrote this meme or whatever. I wrote this thing last night, how people are getting harmed in plain sight in front of everybody and nobody knows. Nobody can see it right in front of their faces. Somebody said to me, somebody made a comment to me on a video yesterday or the day before. Where's your family? Where's everybody that you know? And the truth is that I was being harmed right in front of everybody and nobody understood what they were looking at. I was being medically harmed and nobody understood what they were looking at. And this went on for years. I was being misdiagnosed. I was being over-medicated. I was being drugged to the eyeballs. When someone made that comment to me, you know, it's hard to explain that to people. They made a comment, well, where is everybody? That seems kind of strange. That seems kind of fishy, you know. And I used to have this neighbor across the street. He died, but he was alone. And when you don't know how these things happen, it is hard to understand. It's totally hard to understand. And it's like the same concept. You can become completely financially destroyed in Canada because of medical care. You can lose everything. And when you don't know enough, you say to the person, well, how can that happen if healthcare is free? How can you lose everything from healthcare? When healthcare is free, you can become completely destroyed your entire life. My life has been destroyed by all of this. I'm just in shock. So, you know, last night is an extremely unusual night for me. I had, it took 15 and a half hours to get 7 or 8 hours of sleep. But I woke up and I thought, my gosh, look at it. Look at the beautiful sunny day. I'm really symptomatic and my hearing is blocked off right now and stuff. But I wonder if by the time I wake up and get dressed, I wonder if I'm gonna, feel half decent today. I think I might feel half decent. It took 15 and a half hours, and with that thing in my mouth that hurts, just causes so much pain and nerve damage, pain all night from head to toe. Every inch of me, it's just like being under attack all night. But I woke up, a few minutes ago in bed, and I think to myself, my God, I had actual sleep. I actually had sleep. It took way too long, but I actually slept. A couple of years ago, I would have slept 2 hours. in 15 and a half hours. And then the next thought is, oh my God, my life is gone. My life has been burned to the ground. And I've lost everything. And you know who? And then at that moment, I can get swarmed with, depression and fear and suicidal thoughts and self-blame, and I can just fall into this dark, ugly abyss. And then I thought to myself, who gets blamed in the end? You know who gets blamed? Me, the patient. You know what was really done to me? I was being harmed in front of everybody, and nobody understood what was going on. Not anybody. Not my family, not my best friend. My God, I remember my sister came once, and my mom was here. It was after my husband died. And I was just being plied with drugs. The doctors were trying to get me to sleep. I had severe undiagnosed sleep apnea, sleepwalking, sleep eating, respiratory depression, severe insomnia, and my doctors were drugging the hell out of me. You can't drug sleep apnea out of somebody. What you're doing is you're actually making them worse. And what it makes you look like is a mental case. You're taking all these drugs. You're not sleeping. Nobody understands what's going on. You're right in front of everybody, and nobody understands that you're suffering from severe medical negligence. You're being misdiagnosed. You're being overdrugged. And I can prove that. I've showed my pharmacy records to a couple doctors who have said, "Oh my God, what were they doing to you?" They didn't understand what they were doing to me. This has gone on for years and years. My entire life and reputation has been burned right to the ground. And then, the only way I'm alive and I've made it this far is because I made a decision X amount of years ago to wean off of everything to see if that could save my life, or to try to see who I was or where I was medically without all the drugs. And I started to remove the drugs, and amazing things started to happen, except I still wasn't sleeping. I was still on a couple of medications. And then when I weaned off the last couple of medications, all hell broke loose. And I'm in severe medical crisis, fighting for my life, in acute benzodiazepine withdrawal and acute Z drug withdrawal. Literally no one understood what was going on. I was in absolute medical crisis in front of everybody, screaming for my life, on social media, in real life, making tons of phone calls, reaching out for help. No one understood what they were looking at. Everybody thought I'd lost my mind, or that I was a drug addict, and that I was fighting and looking for sources to get more drugs because I was cut off, which is completely untrue. I have no addiction issues. I weaned myself off. I wanted off all the drugs to fight for my life. And again, right in plain sight in front of the whole world. No one understood, except a lot of you guys, a lot of strangers on social media. Where did everybody go? Where did my family and friends go? Well, they slipped away because I just simply did. Friends, I can only make 15 minutes video, so I'll make another one.